Hey traders, what's going on? This is the watch list video for Thursday, October 13th. The SPY is right back down near the recent lows from about 2 weeks ago. Very, very narrow range today. I have not placed a whole bunch of trades in the last few days. Market's been bleeding lower, and today just felt like everything was on hold for the CPI number tomorrow morning, which I think is 8:30. I think it's before the opening bell, 8:30 Eastern time. So maybe then at least we'll get some action. And when the market's slow and dead and sideways, it yields very few setups. Having said that, I do have kind of a big list for tomorrow. So we'll see. But here goes with the list. SNTI right back on bounce watch. Again, this ran from $1 something to almost 9. And now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. We actually pierced the 20-day before closing a little bit off the lows, but I still like it as a potential bounce play. Really dead volume after this huge run up. With a proper setup, we could get a nice percentage gain in it if it meets our parameters, right? BEAT, almost to the 20-day here, just another red day. I'm putting it on bounce watch. I hate to keep repeating myself, and because most of you know this, but I'll say it anyway. Only with a proper intraday bounce play setup, right? CCJ. How many times have you seen me have a bounce play on watch the same symbol like 4 days in a row because it never gives a setup, right? Anyway, CCJ. This may be overdone. I thought I saw a headline today. Geez, I hope I don't get this wrong. I probably will. Where France wants to build several nuclear reactors pretty quickly, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a uranium play. And it's got a massive volume, but a bottoming tail. Let's see, URA is uranium. And that looks like it kind of tried to bottom today too. Big volume, nice reversal. So anyway, I'm just putting CCJ. It's not a normal bounce play for me. Normal bounce plays are either something stupid strong that's pulled back for a few days, or something that's just down several days in a row, preferably to support. You don't really have that here. I guess you could argue it's fallen from, almost a little over 28 down to 22 pretty quickly, but it's still not that bounce play look. I'm just looking for one that's maybe overdone to the downside, right? IAC, just a little shape change here, and this doesn't matter, but like you can look back in February, this was over 130, right? It's been bleeding lower ever since. Now we're starting to get that shape change. So I'm looking for a potential bounce tomorrow, and I'd like to see that shape continue, right, and get a little bit even lower, but there's the weekly, so it's sitting at all-time lows right now, which means we don't have support on the chart, but that doesn't mean it's going to fall forever. You could get a nice snapback bounce on something like this. So goes on watch. APRN, this is, I want to say it's an ugly chart, but that's being too nice, right? It does have a big short position, though, and it had a gap up, I want to say, yesterday, on I guess their meals are going to be available in actual Amazon stores. One of my members had to PM me and let me know that, hey, we actually have Amazon stores, physical stores in our area. I didn't even know those existed. Where I live, they have Amazon distribution centers everywhere. But anyway, so that seemed like a decent headline, especially for a stock that's this beaten up and has a huge short position. But as you can see, it ran a little bit and then went out at the lows, and then another day of selling off. Looks like this is probably at all-time lows. Let's go to the weekly. No, not quite. Going back here, let's see, the low was 202. What was the low today? 211. Anyway, it looks like it's sitting basically at all-time lows. There's the monthly. So I think this one could, let me go back to the daily. I think this could give a snapback bounce. You do have some decent news from 2 sessions ago. Where am I? Okay, AEHR, another bounce play, had a nice breakout on earnings, and it's just basically round trip, but it is back down to support. So I'm going to put it on bounce watch. MSOS, I don't know if ETF is the right word. I think this is like a cannabis pot ETF or something along those lines. That might not be the right word, but it's basically what it is from what I understand. Got a big pop on news like a week ago, as did all the pot stocks, and it's been bleeding lower ever since, but it hasn't round tripped. And if there's any kind of follow-up news on the news that they announced a week ago, this could get kind of a secondary pop. But actually, this thing actually halted on an intraday basis, which I don't know if I've ever seen for an ETF. Don't blow me up in DMs on Twitter or my email if it's not an ETF. That's the way it was explained to me in chat. Anyway, I'm putting it on bounce watch. How about that? LASE had the gap up yesterday, gave almost all of it back. Then today gaps down, but shows some strength. So I'm putting it on long watch. GGE, just a weird stock, but the thing keeps holding up in a weak tape, so I'm going to put it on watch. ILAG, look at this intraday. Sold off all day and then ends up closing fairly close to the highs, and it's been strong lately, so that makes it kind of interesting, right? Today's high, 536. Yesterday's high, 535. The day before that, 520. Okay, so I mean, it's holding up well. Let's leave it at that. I'm going to put it on long watch. JOBY. I'm not in love with this, but gapped up yesterday, sold off, and then today showing some strength pretty quickly again in a weak tape. AGFY, penny stock, but a nice breakout today. We'll see if it gives a follow-through setup tomorrow. A couple more. FOXO, big volume today on what sounded like nice news. Biggest all-time volume, and I don't know, I want to say a fairly strong close. It topped out at 174 though before settling at 143, but might give a continuation setup tomorrow. I'm going to put Alcoa AA on watch. Either rumors or news, I'm not sure, about Russian aluminum. I can't. If they're gonna boycott, that's not the right word. Anyway, they're gonna stop accepting. I can't remember what the word is, but anyway, so. If they cut out Russian aluminum, this one in CENX also kind of interesting. Again, I don't know if it's a fact or if it's just a rumor. I'm going to kind of quickly go to a news source here. That figures. It doesn't say anything about it today. Let me pause this. Okay, I got the headline. White House weighs ban on Russian aluminum in retaliatory move. So there you go. If they ban Russian aluminum, and I think the price of aluminum itself did spike too, that would make, maybe they would get a follow-through day on that tomorrow. All right, anyway, I'm done babbling. We're going to add gappers to this list in the pre-market, and hopefully be plenty to trade. We will have, by the time the market opens, we will have CPI number behind us. Then hopefully we can at least find some stuff to trade, and the market won't be on hold anymore. All right, see you guys in the chat.